I always say how much I love the spirit world. And now, during this crisis, they have come together to support each other in ways that would have seemed incomprehensible just a few months ago. From making hand sanitizer, to delivering cocktails at home, to supporting the medical workers worldwide, the hospitality industry has stepped up to the plate and knocked it out of the park. Today, we meet two who've hit a home run. Sorry for the baseball references. It is spring after all, and I love baseball. I'm Susan Schwartz, your drinking companion, and welcome back to Lush Life Podcast. Every week, we're inspired to live life one cocktail at a time by everyone in this industry. You can find links on how to donate to some of your favorite bars during this rough time on the homepage of my website, which is www.alushlifemanual.com. I always pride myself on meeting my guests face-to-face, but obviously while we are self-isolating, that is absolutely impossible. Therefore, I am using an online platform and reliant on Wi-Fi, so please bear with the slight hiccups you might encounter along the way. Back to our guests today. Both Maxim Schulte, head bartender of the American bar at the Savoy Hotel in London, and Joe Last, senior bartender at the Beaufort bar at the Savoy, have had to leave their positions behind the bar to wait out the crisis like the rest of us. Instead of lounging around, though, they immediately launched the Booze Brain, an online training platform for brands and industry leaders to continue to educate and keep in touch with each other through Facebook and Instagram Live. They are already on their fourth week of Booze Brain, and as you'll hear, everyone in the business jumped at the chance to share their knowledge and know-how with their peers and cocktail enthusiasts like me, who can learn right alongside them. Even participate in their Instagram Lives. So pour yourself a cocktail, pick up your phone, laptop, or any screen, and check out Booze Brain. And here are Maxim and Joe to tell us more. So why don't you introduce yourself and tell me a little about what you both do in life?
Ladies first, always. Okay. So like I said, my name's Jo. I work at the Beaufort bar at the Savoy. I started about 2 years ago. I'm from London originally, but I moved up to the north of England in Leeds for about 6 or 7 years. And so I've been doing this for 9 years. I've been in the hospitality industry. Spent most of it in the north, and then 2 years decided to come back down, and that's where I started at the Savoy, first hotel. Met Max, and I guess the rest is history.
And you, Max?
Yeah, so my name is Maxim, or Max. Max is fine. I'm originally from Germany, from Hamburg, and I've started there my career, but have moved around a bit, and a bit over 1.5 years ago came to London for the job in the American bar at the Savoy. And it has been a hell of a ride, I would say, for the last bit over 1.5 years. And yeah, that's it. Now it's here. Now it's quarantine time.
Well, we all know what's going on in the world right now. And obviously I'm speaking to you not as I usually do in your places of work, but on Squadcast, because the bars are unfortunately closed right now. So, but you've decided to do something and to include the whole community that we love so much. And so why don't you tell me a little bit about how you decided to start the Booze Brain, what it is, what people can expect from it. It's only been going for about 2 weeks.
Yes.
So tell me about how it's going and the inception.
Well, it was, I think, the day after we were told that the hotel will have to close for a certain amount of time. And, we all were a bit of lost in space, I like to say. And we thought about, how can we keep our brain occupied for 3 months, maybe less, maybe more, you never know. But how can we keep busy, and how can we not lose touch? And then we thought about, we need to educate ourselves something. You cannot spend 3 months not learning anything. And then it was about, there should be a platform for everyone, really. To come together, to stay connected, but also maybe to learn a thing or two. And then, we just thought, there are some platforms obviously around, Well, we thought, why don't we just make our own? And I basically sent out an Instagram post. I said, look, I think we have to be stronger and together, and try to educate. And I basically tagged just a couple of brand ambassadors in there. And for us, it's like we get a lot of trainings in the Savoy. Luckily for us, because we have 2 bars, we try to meld the teams together for these training sessions, and we get a lot of brands that want to do this. But now I was thinking, so now we actually have the time, but we cannot be in the same room. So now finally we have time for training, but we can't. And that's, where we thought, a platform where somebody can live, digital, make these or give these trainings. Our guys and girls at home can still listen to it and learn a thing or two.
Just for anyone out there who might not know, what do you mean by trainings?
It's just, I think we started now off without any spirit brand at all, or any spirit category really. We started off with things that we think people might be interested in now, but they are at home and that they are in the 4 walls and can't leave. So,
in terms of like your question, in terms of what is a training, so obviously when we're at work, we have brand ambassadors that come in. We work with particular products behind the bar, but you can never sell anything if you don't really know anything about it. So we have these people that professionals in these particular products that come in and just share knowledge about a particular spirit, be that Tanqueray, be that Patron, be that Bacardi, be that the liqueurs that you use in cocktails, and kind of understanding their story so that you can share stories for your guests to make them understand what they're drinking. So they come in and we have like hour sessions sometimes with presentations and tastings. So we taste the products with the stories. And without that, and not doing that for a few months, obviously, you have to practice things to keep them in your mind. I think that's also where the Booze Brain kind of title came from, was kind of keeping everything that we do every day in our brains while we're not actually there. So giving those trainings on a platform, especially as all brands can kind of come together in one place. So it's kind of like a little library of kind of trainings that people can access at any time, hopefully.
Did you have any ideas beforehand of the kind of things that you wanted to put out there?
Not really. I mean, obviously there are loads of kind of trade shows and things that everyone goes to, and there are seminars where it's a really amazing way you can go and learn different things in different places. So lucky for me and Max, we have traveled a bit and been to some of these shows, and we know kind of what seminars kind of are received really well. So just trying to make these topics something that is not too niche, that people don't relate to it, because otherwise you're trying to appeal to a broad audience, and when you want to bring lots of people together, you just have to make sure that it's engaging. So for example, the other day when we had Ago and Giorgio from the Connaught, they're famous for throwing their pouring their martinis and a lemon twist, and it's just something that everyone can relate to, but it's kind of brings a sense of warmth and a lot of memories for people that were when you're actually in the bar. So it's not just about knowledge, it's also about trying to remember the positive feelings that you have when you're receiving really great hospitality.
And I see that since you've been doing it for 2 weeks, have people just lined up to offer their services?
Yeah, actually, it's quite tough, because we're even getting follow-ups now. We're like, yeah, but when is our session? When can we have a session? Like, literally, I think we would have enough people for, I don't know, 4 or 5 months by now that have contacted us and said, look, we really want to do a session, which is amazing, right? Which is really, really cool. The thing is, obviously, we have to try to squeeze these sessions into organic weeks. So we don't want to have 4 sessions in 1 week that are all about rum or anything. That doesn't really make sense. So what we want to do is we want to try to pick and match the weeks that they are quite diversified. So, for example, tomorrow we have the one for Gianluca with tequila background. So it's going to be sort of the real first one that is, I think, just about a spirit category. And we're going to blend in the next week's spirit categories. But we also want to have topics that are not related to a spirit. Because, I don't know, at least for me, I think we're always focusing on liquids, the products. But we're never focusing on us, actually. And now in these 3-4, I don't know how many months we out of job, we have to focus on us. And, I think this is why we're focusing as well a lot on wellness, mental health, healthy living in general. We had Sim from Beefeater that didn't talk about gin. She only talked about, how to set yourself goals and how to stay fit at home, because that's what we have to do. Like, we basically just came back from a workout because, we have to move our bodies. Normally we walk at least 20,000 steps, 25,000 steps a day.
Right.
Now we are confined on a tiny space, and we need to keep our bodies healthy somehow.
Yes, I've seen all of them, but especially the one with Claire Warner about brainstorming and how to keep your brain active just by looking outside, just looking at the outside the window.
Yeah,
can get your whole intellect going, really, and thinking new ideas. And it takes only just a small thing to get us creating.
Yeah,
I was really touched by that.
At the moment, obviously, it might be quite easy for everyone to stop feeling creative and kind of halt everything that you kind of do on a day-to-day basis, because it's such a shock to the system. This different kind of routine that everyone's now in. So just little tips just to get your mind flowing, and trying to, remind people that this hopefully is something that's just not going to last forever, and we're all going to want to go back into our communities, and obviously things will change, but using your creativity to kind of adapt to the situation and try and support everyone, and just continue going as well as you can.
Absolutely. Now, where can people find these Booze Brains?
It's on Instagram and on Facebook. Just type in the Booze Brain, and then the logo of a brain will pop up, and then there you are. But basically, the sessions are on Instagram Live. So we give them our Instagram account, and we make them an admin on our Facebook page, and then they can take them over. We have a tiny issue with Facebook at this point of time, but we have already worked a plan out on how to solve this issue. So,
and if you can't see them live, do you repost them?
Yeah, so exactly. We are recording the live sessions, and then we're posting them afterwards on Facebook. Okay,
fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and I can't wait to see you at your bars.
Yeah, we'll be there. They'll be ready for you. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Our cocktail of the week is the simplest and chicest batch martini recipe you're going to find. It's directly from the American bar of the Savoy, thanks to Maxim. By batch, we mean you can make a lot of it and throw it in the freezer to have some leftover for later. With only 3 ingredients, gin or vodka, dry vermouth, and water, it couldn't be easier. Here's Maxim again to tell us how to make it.
So as the cocktail of the week, we thought, we get you up close with our Savoy dry martini. And for now, in the special times, there is a really nice way to do it very, very easily and almost lazy at home. So call it the lazy martini if you want. So what you do, you take your favorite gin or vodka, you take 250 milliliters out of a bottle. I recommend you do another cocktail or gin and tonics for everyone with that. Anyway, 250 milliliters out, and then you add 110 milliliters of dry vermouth. If you feel fancy, go to the Whiskey Exchange, buy a coffee Savoy dry vermouth. And then the rest, basically, so 140 ml of, if you have great tap water, use your tap water, otherwise any still water. put it back into the bottle. So basically it's the same fill level as before. Just maybe turn it upside down once or twice, chuck it in the freezer. An hour, 2 hours later, you have a beautiful silky liquid that would represent the martini almost that you get in the Savoy, I would say. And you don't even need ice for it. So you can just pour it straight into the glass. Also recommendation, put the glass into the freezer just before you want to have it, so it keeps the temperature even better. Get a nice olive or lemon twist, and yeah, just enjoy.
I love a dirty martini myself, so if you want to make one, add in the olive juice after the martini is in the glass, not into the bottle. Depending on how dirty you like the martini, maybe add between 10 to 20 mils of olive juice and a pinch of salt. You can find this recipe, more easy recipes, and all the cocktails of the week at alushlifemanual.com, where you'll also find all the ingredients in the shop. Just be aware that at least in the United States, sales of alcoholic beverages rose 55% in the week ending March 21st, compared to the same period last year. So please drink responsibly while you are self-isolating. If you live for Lush Life, would you consider supporting us by buying us a coffee? Just go to buymeacoffee.com/lushlife, and you can donate once or monthly to make sure we are still here every Tuesday. Theme music for Lush Life is by Steven Shapiro and used with permission. And Lush Life is always and will be forever produced by Evo Terra and Simpler Media Productions. Which leaves me to say the wise words of Oscar Wilde: all things in moderation, including moderation. And always drink responsibly. Yes, I said it again. And wash your hands and stay safe. Next week, we meet Mark Gillespie, the whiskey man himself, host of the Whiskey Cast, the one and only podcast for the whiskey world. Until that time, bottoms up.